writing women's history, I wanted to just briefly talk about some of the things I do and use my latest book, The Vote, Women's Fierce Fight. That's actually Rose Bauer on the cover. She's from South Dakota and a trumpeter and a whistler. Again, just a great character to know about. The first thing I do is I assess, and I assess with a raised eyebrow. That was something my mother always did. I can't really do it, but my mother had a capacity to really raise an eyebrow, which was her signal of skepticism. And I'm pretty much always skeptical of what I know, what I think I know, what others know, what others think they know. And I'm always sort of saying, I need to check, I need to double check, you know, is this conventional wisdom based on anything other than just made up stuff? And of course, we're living in a time of extreme misinformation and distortions. And so if we've ever needed a raised eyebrow, it's now. Assemble, the whole process of writing about women's history is assembling all the resources. When I first started, it was fun because there wasn't much on the internet. So my partner and I would take off and we'd go drive around Texas. We'd go to the Charlotte Hall Museum in Prescott, Arizona, and go through all the things. I'd go to Harvard and actually get a big box of the material of Dorothea Dix and actually hold with my gloved hands a letter that Lincoln wrote to Dorothea Dix, or a piece of her hair tied with a ribbon. It was magical. Now everything's been digitized, a lot can be done online, which is wonderful in terms of, especially now that we're in, but it was fun to have had that experience. Reframing is a really important part. Reframing and intersections. Reframe. Think about, like with The Vote or with girls, how am I going to periodize, or how am I going to think about? Am I just going to go from colonial time to Civil War? How am I going to organize? Like what events are more important in women's lives that I should maybe break my chapters? And I spend a lot of time thinking about that. And then I think about the intersection. I think about race. I think about class. I think about ethnicity. I think about, you know, within white ethnicity, there are all kinds of, you know, there's Italian, there's Irish, there's Slovaks, there are Croatians, there, you know, Welsh. I mean, all those different intersections, geographic intersections, and what do they mean, and what do they mean for my writing? Balance is another thing, like with The Vote. One of the things that was so hard for me in writing the suffrage story was the amount of male violence, the amount of government terroristic treatment of women, and it was really hard. And I was writing it during the campaign of 2016, and it was really traumatic at times. But I wanted to have a balance. I wanted to have, yes, a balance of the disappointments, the defeats, the brutality, but also the persistence, the agency, the energy. I wanted a balance, and I wanted to be bold. I wanted to write about the open racism, the open white supremacy. But I also wanted to write about the examples of interracial collaboration and connection. So all of those things are going on with me in writing a book. And engagement. I'm always thinking about, how am I writing so that the reader is going to want to keep turning the page? Or how am I speaking so that somebody's going to want to keep listening to me? Or how am I doing whatever I'm doing so that I'm engaged